Having the experience of being in a back against the wall game, being in a must-win situation, understanding the pressures that come along with that, I think that helps certainly.
You won 4 or 5 against them in regular season. I know that's a long time ago, but what enabled that to happen? What was the difference in those games, and can you recapture that, I guess?
Well, I think there's a lot of factors. I mean, when you go through the regular season, and I think, I can't remember, we played them a lot early and then a couple times late, whether it be production from players that you don't always get production from, the way that we controlled the boards, the way they're shooting the ball in the last 7 quarters or 2 games versus the way they shot the ball, throughout the regular season. There's a lot of factors. I think at the end of the day, it becomes the same thing that it is for us no matter who we play, is we have to control the boards and we can't turn it over for scores. Those 2 areas, the turnovers and that we allow them to score on, and giving up offensive rebounds are 2 things that hurt us. And when we control those 2, we're successful, and when we don't, we're not.
What uncharacteristic of the Fever to give up like 57% shooting 2 games in a row? I guess what can you guys do to kind of restrain New York in a way that you weren't able to in Game 1?
Well, I think it's playoff time, and just as it's uncharacteristic for us to give up that much, it was probably uncharacteristic of us to shoot 60% versus Chicago too. So, everybody's playing their best, and the teams that are shot makers at this time of the year are the teams that usually advance. So, I think for us, it becomes making teams uncomfortable, not giving up the wide open looks, making them hit the contested looks that you live with. I think you have to give New York credit for knocking down shots in areas on the floor that they haven't typically knocked them down. They've had the potential to knock down, but they haven't yet at this point. And other players, they're bench players for stepping up. So we have to make them uncomfortable. We've got to continue to change defenses to keep them off balance, and we have to be able to execute our defenses in order to do that. I think we have to make sure that no matter what, we can't give these teams. These are playoff teams. These are great teams for a reason, and you can't give them multiple possessions. You have to stop them on the first possession. You can take a funky bounce or a rotation rebound here and there, but you can't consistently give them 2 and 3 possessions each time down the floor, because teams are too good and they take advantage of it.
What do you attribute those turnovers to?
Well, I think they're a very good defensive team. They pressure you. They try to keep you on one side of the floor. We didn't get good ball reversals. They forced us to play fast. So I think a little bit, us just being able to handle their pressure, us being able to execute better, set screens, use screens. We did a very poor job from a perimeter standpoint of using screens. And then the other thing is we have to be poised. Like, we have to be able to slow our minds down enough to execute offense and get ball reversals, to slow our minds down enough to see the openings in the defense. They forced us to play much faster than we want to play at in order for us to be successful offensively.
It's tough for you guys, a team for whom the home crowd is a factor. Some teams it doesn't bother one way or the other, but I guess
I think every team is, in a sense, just because they give you that extra energy boost. If there's a time where where you're struggling, you don't have to create your own energy. The crowd actually gives you more energy. That was one thing that I was really excited about in New York, really throughout the entire playoffs, is that's the old New York crowd. I mean, where there was just a ton of people there, and it was just a really awesome environment. And it's the same thing here for us. If we can, pack the house and get people in here and get them to be loud, and of course they're that extra energy. They're called the 6th man for a reason. They're that extra energy that can help you get stops when you need to. That can help you execute when you need to, and there's something about it.
We have Kaiser available. Do you know yet?
I don't know yet. We'll see how she recovers from practice today, and see if she can practice tomorrow, and then we'll
have another big would be helpful.
Yeah, it would absolutely be helpful. And also having a big of her skill set.
Yeah.
I mean, she's able to knock down shots for us that our other bigs aren't able to do right now, and she's a scoring presence as well as another body. So it absolutely would help us.
Yeah, she can drift out and make that 8 and 10 footer that not a ton of posts in the league do.
And I think it's important because of the way they play us. They play us packed off, challenging our bigs to hit shots, and if she can be on the floor and knock down those shots, that's important.
Schedule helpful, or does it really matter, this extra day between games? Does that really mean much, or getting her healthy helps a little bit?
Yeah, I think it helps in terms of getting her healtty. I don't know. It's
you guys know each other so well.
Yeah, we know each other so well, and certainly it's nice whenever you can get rest. But at the same time, you have that bad taste in your mouth for an extra day. So maybe that'll give us some more motivation. I'm not exactly sure.